Chapter 3 and 4 are so close to release now, I thought it would be fun to look back at some older theories and some more recent theories, and give my opinions and thoughts on them, and see if whether or not I think they're going to come true in the following chapters. I don't think it would be a proper review theory if I don't bring up one of the most infamous theories on Deltarune, the Piles of Azrael Dust theory by Deltarune. The general idea behind this theory is that Azrael is dead and has come back as Rousey. A lot of people have strong feelings about this theory, and so do I, but first of all, let's just get into evidence for this. Okay, so on the Deltarune store page, it says Deltarune is a parallel to the Undertale universe. And as we know, Azrael does die in Undertale, so if Deltarune's a parallel, it would make sense if that was the same in Deltarune's universe. And also in Undertale, Kara is responsible for killing, or somewhat responsible for the death of Azrael. So the parallel to that would be Chris being responsible for the death of Azrael in Deltarune. Then we have the explanations for why everyone thinks Azrael's alive. This is mainly stating that, as we know, Chris is able to log into Azrael's PC, or it is at least implied, which means he could be emailing people pretending to be Azrael. And then this also explains the reason why Burger Pants can't contact him himself, as Burger Pants tries to say, hey, could you tell Azrael about this? And it could be that Chris is lying about Azrael's phone being broken. And of course the whole idea is Rousey's dust is spread onto the horns that Chris used and has come back to life as Rousey. Now, it's not a bad theory. There's got a lot of good parts, got a lot of explanations, but it doesn't sit right with me. So I'm going to give some reasons I have against this theory. If both are parallel, Chris would also be dead, as in Undertale, Kara dies right after Azrael dies. And I know there's some theories that Chris is dead, but I feel like explaining this theory with another, even harder to prove theory isn't the best. Chris has no XP in the light world, meaning that he probably hasn't killed anyone yet. So I don't think it would make sense for Azrael to have been killed by him. Toriel would know, as it is common for parents to drop their kids off at college, so it'd be weird if Toriel didn't know Azrael wasn't around. Azrael could just not like Burger Pants enough. That is my evidence for all my thoughts on why I don't believe the lying about Azrael's phone being broken. There's so many better answers to that point. And the final thing is, any object can come to life, and so it could literally just be the horns. And as the horns were used for Chris to try and make himself be more like Azrael, it would make sense that when the horns were brought to life, they'd be similar to Azrael. Alright, so I know I wasn't really scoring it, but my overall score, if I had to put it on a scale of 10, would be 3 out of 10. It's just not believable, and also I don't think the story would work with it. I think the story would just become worse, and it would just make it feel too similar to Undertale, which is something Toby doesn't really want to do from what he said. Okay, now it's time for a more popular theory that's come out recently. This is by Spooky Dude, but all the links will be in the description for these theories and the people who made the theories. And the idea behind this theory is that in Chapter 3, the secret boss is going to be a cowboy from a cancelled cowboy show, just like Woody. Anyway, so the evidence for this: Toby Fox posted a bunch of edited versions of the Toy Story theme. Most people have probably heard about this by now. The whole friend inside me thing kind of made the community go crazy for a while. We found out about a cowboy section in Chapter 3 that has now been cancelled, and when responding to it being cancelled, Toby says that's just how cowboy shows go, which is a direct reference to Woody. Also, the fact that every other secret boss has been something that's been discarded, it may make sense for like a cancelled show to be the next one. also, as Woody is a puppet or a doll, it would fit with Spamton being a puppet as well, and the whole like themes of freedom in the secret bosses. Now, I do actually agree with this theory, and I think it might be true, but I do have a few reasons against it. Toby, obviously, the song he made can't be used, so most likely the song is a joke post, but that doesn't mean it can't be used as evidence. It just, we have to take it with a grain of salt. Also, it might be too similar to Spamton, just because both are like dolls and puppets. They're quite similarly connected, but I'm sure Toby can think of a way to get around that. And also, this is another theory, which I'm not going to get into in this video, but there's a reverse soul theory, which states that we're going to be going through the souls in the reverse order of the order they fell into the underground in Undertale, which means the next soul would be green. But Woody would make more sense with the yellow soul, because obviously he's going to have like shootout action and stuff. So he's going to have a gun. But we've already used the yellow soul with Spamton. Okay, so my scoring for this theory is an 8 out of 10. I actually really think this could be true. It's like believable, and it fits in with the past secret bosses of Deltarune. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video, so I'm only going to be doing 3, but if people like it, I'll review some more theories. But the final one is Chris is the Knight. Again, Spooky Dude made a great video defending this, so I'm going to go over the evidence for this. Chris in the game is described as a knight. That is, it's in the stat menu. If you go check it, it says, I can't remember the exact wording, but it definitely says he's a knight. Chris makes a dark fountain at the end of chapter 3. The only thing we know the knight does is make dark fountains, so it would make sense. Chris ripped the soul out after chapter 1 and before chapter 2, meaning there is ample time for him to create the cyber worlds. The dark worlds are the freedom that Chris wants. It's very clear that Chris feels trapped with us, and the dark worlds are freedom. He gets to go on an adventure with his friends, so they're the biggest freedom he can get. And finally, the biggest piece of evidence is in chapter 1, when you first start, Chris has a save file that you have to save over, which would only make sense if he had been to the Dark World before us. There are a few things I have against this thing. For starters, I think Chris couldn't have actually made the cyber world, in my opinion, as Bradley and Noelle were sat in the center of the room, while when we jump into the Dark World, we're at the door. So it wouldn't make sense for Chris to have made it if they had to be already in, because we were with Chris when they went to the library. The line, a large man could fit in here, implies that that's where the knight was. And while some people think it's foreshadowing the Bardley thing, I don't think Bardley counts as like a large man. Chris only makes a fountain after Queen teaches him how to. And in chapter 2, Queen teaches how to make a dark fountain. And then we see Chris make one. So it could be very possible that Chris finds out and wants to go on another adventure. Or the other big theory is that Chris made the fountain to lure Undyne into a dark world. Because in chapter 1 and 2, we can try and tell Undyne about the dark worlds. Both times she just brushes it off. So Chris could be getting desperate and trying to get some action to be done on dark worlds. Overall, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I don't personally think Chris is the knight, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chris was the knight. So I could see it going in either direction, honestly. And yeah, thanks for watching. Again, big shout outs to the people who actually made these theories. Links to the theories and them in the description. If you enjoyed this is a new channel, so please consider it liking and subscribing. And if you want more Deltarune content, I have a video out right now talking about my thoughts and opinions on what I think chapter 3 and 4 are going to be like. If you also want to hear more of me discussing theories, in a couple of days from now, I will be releasing a video with my friend where we play chapter 1 while talking about all the theories from chapter 1 and just other Deltarune related stuff.